Good day, everybody. This is BA Radiant Dawn, and we got something kind of entertaining to talk about today. I brought along with me Sir JBR.
What's good, everybody? It's your boy JBR from BA Radiant Dawn channel, and today we're looking at a Fire Emblem tier list.
Yeah, this is done by Gamerant, and I know they're.
You already know it's gonna be bad.
Yeah, if you know them from, I'm pretty sure it's from the same people that do the movie rants or whatever, Screen Rant. This is the same kind of thing, but video games, so you know it's gonna be bad. So we're looking at every character in Black Eagles ranked, and they have it ranked from like 8 out of 8 is like it's from the worst to the best. So number 1's the best. Nice and easy for you.
Mm-hmm.
So let's get into this, shall we? So
we're going in semi-blind. We looked briefly at like the first 2 in Black Eagles and said, "Yeah, we're making this video."
Pretty much, I saw the top 2 and I'm like, "Yo, we have to talk about this." Bernadetta at 8. Okay, so let's see what they say for Bernadetta, right? So, which is actually fairly consistent with her being the shyest student. Okay, so it's personality for the best for the first bit. Her prowess in combat supports avoiding people and direct confrontation. She's best suited to be a bow fighter with high stats in skill and speed, with her highest skill ranking in bows. Her ability is Persecution Complex, +5 attack whenever she's not at full health, which is guaranteed in battle. She's a sniper and will do a good job at staying away from the enemy. I mean,
so
it's not wrong.
Them saying she's a good bow fighter isn't wrong, but what makes Bernadetta so good is she gets vengeance at, I believe, C rank lances, and basically what that is I believe how it works is every point of HP that you have missing, it adds +1 might to your attack. Stack that with her personal ability, which is +5 might. She does a crazy amount of damage, and we've learned throughout like the years that if you give somebody a defensive adjutant, it's super easy to get them down to 1 HP, especially in maddening mode when people W. So it's basically like late game you can give her like +40 might. It's ridiculous. And like early game +20 to 25 might is ridiculously good.
Mm-hmm. And I think forgive me if I'm wrong, but I think one other thing that people like to do with her is also the Battalion Wrath Vantage combo thing as well.
Yeah, she can do that too.
Yeah, so somehow a unit that could deal like 60 plus damage or Battalion Wrath combo is somehow the worst in the Black Eagles. Let's take that in for a second.
Now, this one I will, like, this was made the same year it came out, like a couple months after. I don't even think it was a couple months. I think this was the same month it came out.
August 13th, 2019, yeah.
To be fair, the FE community also thought Bernadetta was the weakest, and we completely flip-flopped, and now she's like
God
top
tier.
5 in the game almost. Maybe just shy of it, because like Vengeance defensive battalion is just so good.
Now, one thing that I find entertaining is the fact that they actually are able to go in and touch up on these lists. They just choose not to. They just don't care. Like, I found one where it was like last updated like October 2020 or something. So they are able to update. They just don't. So that still enables us to rip on them a little bit.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe they'll watch the video.
I personally would have Bernadetta on like 2 or 3 on this list. Bernadetta's insanely good.
She's a god. Let's see who's next in the 7th worst spot. Dorothea. I mean,
okay, I get why she is, towards like the lower end.
Her strength isn't that great, so her focus should be on her magic, which means she's best suited to be a mage for most of the game, with the end goal being a dancer. I mean, they're not wrong. I don't think it's right that she's this, like, this one's a little harder to be nitpicky on than Bernadetta, because it's like Bernadetta should be the opposite end of the tier list. I think Dorothea should be more towards like the middle when it comes to Black Eagles, personally.
Yeah, I'd have her. I mean, 7 is a decent spot for her. I would have her at 7 or 6 personally on the Black Eagles. She's just like she's like an okay magic user. Her best thing is that she's a very good healer. Has very far physic range, and she can support people in the Black Eagles with Meteor. She can give like plus 15% hit chance for battalions on maddening mode if you get them up to an A rank, which is very valuable. But other than that, like, her own offensive capabilities aren't the greatest, but she's a good healer. I'm gonna be very nitpicky with them saying to make her a dancer, that she should be, because making somebody a dancer, anybody besides the faculty, the Church of Sheros, can become a dancer, so like it's kind of dumb because everybody can become a dancer and then be the best unit in the class. So
yeah, I think what they mean is like she's more, her stat line is, I guess, is more suited to being a dancer, possibly. I don't know. We all know Marianne's like one of the best dancers. Like, let's be real.
Marianne, Bernadetta as well, because she gets past.
Ooh,
yeah,
that's nice.
Oh yeah, we forgot to mention that with Bernadetta too. She also gets passed on top of her insane Vantage combo.
So if there's like a wall of enemies in front of the boss, she'll go right through them and one-shot the boss.
Yes, you can get her down to 1 HP super easily, warp her in, stride, gambit her, and then she can just one-shot a boss.
Which is insane. Okay, let's see who they have in number 6 spot. One thing that I do have to, before we leave Dorothea here, I'm pretty sure she does learn Meteor, which is really good Siege Tome, and she has kind of the stats to back it up. But other than that, her offensive abilities are like Sir JBR said, she's better off as a healer, so I won't complain too much about this. Yeah.
Dorothea's not like a crazy good unit, but she's just very solid. Caspar is 2 slots too high. He's the worst character in the blue lines. He doesn't really have anything really going for him other than the one combat art that like immediately kills your weapon for might. That one's pretty solid, but I don't know. Early game brawlers just aren't very good. They're usually on the lower spectrum on the tier list, but even still, he's a very good physical unit, so you can't go wrong with him.
Yeah, well, I'm actually just reading what they're saying, and it sounds a little weird. So on one hand, like his hot-headed and with a need to prove himself thing makes him a fabulous warrior, as he's obsessing over his skills and working to be stronger and harder hitting. Unfortunately, his hot-headedness means he lacks self-preservation skills and defense, which is why he ranks lower. So they like combined his personality with his class, and it's like, oh, he's too hot-headed, so he's a bad combat unit. I'm like, no, his personality doesn't have anything to do with that. I like it when I like the fact that Three Houses kind of merges personalities with skills and abilities in the game, but like, to rank him and say, like, he's not bad because he's hot-headed, he's bad because he's bad, like...
Yeah, it has nothing to do with his personality. I don't even think his defenses are that terrible in comparison to the rest of the Black Eagles.
This line right here, I find, considering you were mentioning that, a melee glass cannon. So they're saying he's like Lysithea here, fragility here. Like,
he can take a hit.
He can take a hit. He cannot take multiples, but...
Anybody in Mounting mode that gets doubled is probably dying, but yeah.
I saw who's at 5.
For the most part.
I saw who's at 5 and it kills my soul.
At 5?
Why the hell is Petra at 5?
This is actually just wrong.
This is so wrong.
Since the beginning of the game, we've been said that Petra is one of the best physical units in the game. She's one of the few units who can naturally double
on maddening. She can double on maddening.
She has the highest base speed growth, which is like it's at like 60, and I think the only person who's better is a DLC character, Yuri, at 65.
I was gonna say Yuri is the only one that tops her in terms of speed, but before DLC was a thing, Petra was the speed queen. Yeah. Like, she could double frickin' everything, and like her skill grants her crit if her enemy's damaged or something. If the enemies at below like half health. So she can actually have the ability to once the beasts are at like half health, she can just like one-shot them at that point.
Yeah, she's a very, very good boss killer with with like effective weaponry.
Why the hell are we talking about Disney? Oh, Pixar. Sorry, same frickin' thing. So some fans compare her to the character Merida from Pixar's Brave, albeit without the same bow skills.
What does that mean?
What does that have to do with?
She's a really good archer.
Wait. Is Merida in Fire Emblem? Did I miss something here? What is this?
I don't know what's happening here. But
her main combat skills are flying and swordsmanship, which makes her destined to become a Falcon Knight. What? No.
That's not wrong. Making her a Pegasus early on is really good, just because of the movement and being able to fly, and she's also very
True.
strong and fast.
I'm just thinking in terms of like, I think Wyvern Rider would be better for her.
Yeah, I think they made this list before the meta of just making 99% of the cast of Wyvern.
They made this list before Mecha made his.
Yeah.
So she's your run-of-the-mill fighter with a great personality that would find a place in anyone's army. But remember, she's only like 5. So there's like 4 others that are better than her. I still don't understand this freaking
it's a little low
thing.
I would have Petra at 2, anywhere from 2 to 4, honestly.
Yeah, I would say like 2 or 3.
Way.
I would say 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's.
Kind of surprised Hubert and Linhardt are above Petra.
Yeah, right. That's offensive to me. I still can't get over the frickin' Pixar's Brave thing. Like, who cares? What does that have to do with anything? Who cares?
Yeah. I don't
know. Linhardt is
Linhardt.
right above her. Okay. Let's see what they say about Linhardt. This is obviously, I'm pretty sure this is wrong, but let's see. Linhardt is buried up with personality, don't care. In combat, he's skilled in faith and reason, putting him on path to be a magic caster in one or both of those areas. Becoming a bishop, dark bishop, or warlock is highly recommended to getting his full potential, although an argument can be made for focusing on his faith. As a bishop, as his high-level spell Warp is incredibly useful for moving allies on the battlefield. He's not a damage dealer per se, but with Warp and high resistance, he's a great utility mage and a must for any Black Eagle army. Well, there's only one Black Eagle army, and that's the Black Eagles, but okay. So what they're basically saying is his combat's kind of poo-poo garbage trash, but Warp puts him at 4.
Warp and him being arguably the best healer besides maybe Mercedes. I would have him decently high on the list, but I would not have Hubert above him, and I would not have people like Bernadetta and Petra
behind him
for sure.
I think he's better in like the 6 to 5 spot, personally.
Yeah, he's just a very solid healer, arguably the best in the game, so you cannot go wrong with the best healer, arguably.
Yeah, exactly. But
you need at least one healer, so he's a very solid choice.
Yeah, this isn't too offensive, but he's a little high up, and some people that are above and behind him don't really make sense either compared to him.
Yeah,
but
I think him being like midway through the Black Eagles list is fair. It's just the ordering of certain characters above and below him is a little wonky.
Okay, so So who have we not seen yet? We haven't seen Edelgard, we haven't seen Hubert, and we haven't seen
Ferdinand von Eyre.
Ferdinand's number 3.
Hubert's number 2 or 1? What the fuck? We all know Edelgard's gonna be number 1. Let's be honest.
But like,
okay, this is him being 3 is actually fair. I would have him 3 as well, and have Bernadetta at 2.
And then like Petra at 4.
Yeah, would make Ferdinand is very solid. The best thing about him is that he has swift strikes. The only bad thing really about him is that he is basically just a worse Sylvain. And he's a bit tricky to recruit outside of house, but in the Black Eagles he is a very fantastic unit because you just get him for free. You don't have to train armor rank on your Byleth to recruit him. So very solid unit right here. I think there's one thing that he struggles with that somebody told me about, but I can't quite remember. But he's just one of the best combat units in the game because he can get Swift Strike and then just go straight into a Wyvern class and just dominate the game. Very good. So
apparently he's very skilled with bows. Am I missing something? I don't think he had even a bow proficiency. Did he?
Does he? I
don't think
so. He could though. And everybody in 3 houses is good with a bow or being on a Wyvern because the sniper class gets Hunter's Volley, so everybody's good with the bow.
But like the way they worded it,
it's like
he's skilled in lances, bow, and riding, which makes him a perfect candidate for becoming a bow knight.
No. The bow knight is probably the worst class you could put Ferdinand in. Just put him straight into Wyvern and get him swift strikes, and he will be one of your best player phase units by far.
Oh yeah.
He's also decent on enemy phase, but I don't know, plus 15 avoidance isn't anything too crazy, not too reliable. but it's
like,
something that can work for him. It's something that he has an option for, so it's
he
fine.
has good spread of stats and growth, which means he could take hits and dish them out just as well.
True.
JBR, did they like talk to you a little bit, but they didn't like listen to you for this? Because like some of it is exactly what you're saying, and then some of it's just completely freaking wrong. It's like they tuned out halfway through talking to you.
Yeah, it's basically just like they're missing Swift Strikes and going into a Wyvern class instead of a Bow Knight. That's basically it. Other than that, it's not the worst ranking on the list. I think this is actually probably the best one, and that's kind of sad, but maybe Edelgard will be better because we all know she's going to be number 1, and that's a easy number 1 on everybody's list.
Yeah. One thing that I'm curious about is, like, one thing that you said earlier where it's like, he's just a worse Sylvain. Well, don't forget, if you're a female, Sylvain would just recruit himself, so why use Ferdinand, am I right?
Yeah. It's just, he's just slightly weaker than Sylvain and a lot harder to recruit. That's another thing with Caspar as well. Ferdinand and Caspar are the only ones you have to go out of your way to get, like, for example, Ferdinand, you have to get, like, B or C armor rank on Violet to recruit him.
Yeah.
Everybody else you can recruit with a B rank support, but they have to have, like, the C and armor knights. So it's very hard to recruit them as well, which makes them a lot worse out of house, because it's a commitment to go out of your way and get them compared to everyone else where you can just spam gifts.
Yeah. Okay, let's take a look, see who number 2 is frickin' Hubert.
This is wrong.
This is so wrong. Like, he's good.
He
should not be this high.
Hubert's a very good magic user, but being a good magic user is not the greatest in 3 houses.
Yeah, being a good magic user is not the best when bows are the best weapon in the game, pretty much. Because they could fire, like, 1 to frickin' possibly, like, 3 to 4 range, like, holy crap.
Yeah, or just being a wyvern in general.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
being a wyvern is crazy. What I will say, though, for Mr. Hubert here is that he has the potential to have enough magic power to one-shot things. So in that regard, he is, besides maybe Lysithea, the best mage in the game. I think Lysithea is actually way better because of her utility, besides just attacking. But yeah, Hubert's basically just your straight up black mage, just like full offensiveness. And he does that pretty well. It's just in Maddening mode, it's a bit hard to one shot, but he can do it sometimes. But it's a little rough. If only he could go into Grimoire, he'd be much better. Rip.
So one thing that one of the things that they put him on so high for is his luck stat is ridiculously high.
Okay.
Well, he has a high magic stat with his focus being reason. But the first thing they mention is his luck. No. Okay, so I think they talked to Mings as well, because, luck is everything. But,
luck is the best stat, come on, guys.
Yeah, okay, well, we already knew Edelgard would be number 1. Although his ability Officer's Duty raises his might by +5 with gambits, so a case could be made for Dark Knight. Dark Knight, Warlock, high magic, but the first thing to go for is high luck. Okay. Yeah. So no mention about the spells he gets, no mentions about the fact that he can one-shot people. It's just, he has high luck. Is the starting argument. It's like, luck OP, please nerf.
I will say with growing flowers to raise magic, it is not a big investment to make Hubert good enough to one-shot things with magic. So he's probably a bit higher than what I would have put him at, which would be super low, at least on the Black Eagles ranking. Yeah. But he's still pretty solid. I'd have him around the middle, probably above Dorothea, right under Linhardt probably. Yeah. And we already know Edelgard's number 1. Yeah. That makes sense. Edelgard's broken. Let's see what they have to say about her, because that... Oh my gosh. Proficiency in heavy armor? Yeah, we're out of here. She's talented axe warrior with a proficiency in heavy armor. She has high strength, lots of HP. Okay. Lots of HP? Does she really? I don't know about that one. Yeah, she's pretty tanky. And high charisma, so her charm stat's high. That is actually a fair point. That is, but it's a little, I would choose high defense, because her defense is pretty high too. No, she has very good charisma, and it's actually something that makes her very good on Maddening mode, because hit rates with Battalion are based off of charisma, and at least very early on it's sort of strict. So having high charisma is very, very important early on. One of the master classes she is best at as a Great Knight. That is false. Nobody should be a Great Knight. If you put somebody into Great Knight, you are not playing correctly. Uninstall the game.
I forgot that. Wait, Great Knight's actually in 3 houses? I completely forgot because no one ever goes into it. Great Knight. Like, really? Was Great Knight in 3 houses?
Yeah, it's you promote paladins into them, but like they get less speed and get more defense. It's super weird.
So they're trying to make her into a mounted armor unit, but like she doesn't need it because her weird. Like her special class, stride, and her combat art for her special weapon is just a GG to every map.
Yeah. What makes Edelgard so broken is her stats very early on are very good, and it's very easy to get her to a Pegasus at level 10 and just carry throughout like the early mid game. And then post time skip, when you get her personal weapon, which you use, it's a combat art, and what it does is it's basically Gale Force. So like you get to attack again, even if you don't kill, you get to attack again. You get another turn, and being a Wyvern Lord with that ability, with Stride, Warp, all of that, it's just insanely good, and you can one-turn a lot of chapters very easily if they are a kill boss, which is most of Crimson Flower, so very good unit. Arguably the best in the game besides maybe Dimitri, and as much as I love Dimitri, I'd probably say Edelgard is better.
As much as it pains our souls to say that, like, I'm not much of a big Edelgard fan, but she's made to be an absolute juggernaut. And she does that job very well. Yeah. Like, Dimitri's more of a tank, but she's a juggernaut. So it's like, it's a good little balance there.
Edelgard is insane, dude.
So I'm guessing you have no problems with Edelgard being at number 1 for Black Eagles. I mean, that makes sense. Lord,
if she was number 1 in 3 houses on your tier list, like, I would agree, honestly.
Mm-hmm. So,
she's insane.
Yeah, one thing that I find interesting is not only do they do the different classes, but they also technically rank the classes as a whole as well. They say Black Eagles are arguably the worst, arguably the weakest in terms of strength.
I do not agree.
I do not agree.
I think overall, Black Eagles is arguably the best or second best, because I think Blue Lions, like, the best units in Blue Lions are like some of the best in the entire game. Mm-hmm. But I think overall, Black Eagles, just their entire roster is very good. Other than maybe Caspar, but he is very good if you put a little bit of investment in him. And late game, War Master is broken, so
yeah,
even he's good.
Let's move on to Golden Deer. First off, Golden Deer is the middle, so they say Blue Lions is the best.
I will not argue with that, but I think Golden Deer is probably the weakest. I think for me, I would say Claude and Leonie are like 2 of the best characters in the entire game. But other than that, the rest of the squad is very very average.
Mediocre or bad. There's no like Ash is just kind of units I'd say like Ash is like a better Ignatz, really. Just Ignatz has that boost in accuracy. That's the only real thing he has. He's a great guy.
Ignatz is better.
Ignatz, okay. Well,
Ignatz is actually pretty good.
So
he's very underrated. IMO.
So here's a question for you: which unit at the 8th spot out of Golden Deer would piss you off the most?
Would piss me off? It would have to be Leonie. Leonie is honestly like top 5, top 10 for me. She's insanely good.
Oh, Lysithea is at 8.
Lysithea, we hate Lysithea in this household. Not really. I don't want you to get flamed in the comment section. But
okay.
She's definitely not the worst character in Golden Deer.
Golden Deer? Like they're saying like Raphael's better than her? Like, are you kidding me?
What's very weird is early on, people would not stop saying how good Lysithea was. So it's, I think this is just like clickbait, honestly. Like, they put her at number 8 so that people would talk about it. Which is
I think they put her at 8 so people like us would make videos being like, why are you guys so stupid?
Yeah.
It's funny because Mecha said the same thing. So she's considered the weakest character in the game.
Yeah.
Not even in the Golden Deer, but the weakest in the game.
Lysithea is easily probably top 10.
Wait.
Um,
So she's the weakest character. Oh, okay. Are they talking character like character or like combat? Because this is largely because she's the youngest student at the academy, as her magical abilities are stunning for someone her age, but weak compared to her older peers.
she's the best magic user in the game. What do you
Yeah,
mean weak
like-
compared to her older peers?
Like, I mean, she's a natural genius, and she studies hard. Annette's not necessarily a natural genius, but she studies hard. And then there's, like, Sylvain, who's a natural talent, but doesn't study at all. Like, if we look at it that way,
Yeah.
Lysithea is still the best. And if we look at character-wise, for mages, like, during playtime in combat, she's still one of the best. So I don't know what the hell they're talking about here.
Yeah, I don't get it. I can explain what makes Lysithea so good. What makes her so good is, number one, she gets warped super early in comparison. I think she gets it at B Faith, which is very, very early compared to other people. It might even be C Faith, but I think it's B. But you can get that, like, by the time you fight, like, I don't know, Miklon at, like, the earliest, if you really go hard at it. But usually around, like, the second Death Knight chapter, you can just warp in there and then kill him turn 1.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the LTC strat. But yeah, she's very good, and what makes her the best offensive magic user, in my opinion, is, one, she gets the strongest spells, and two of those spells are Seraphim and Darkspike's Tea, which are super effective.
Mm-hmm.
And since magic units are always, like, super close to one-shotting, but not always there, if you're doing ×3 damage, you're killing. So, very, very solid offensive magic user there, with all of her effective magic tomes.
Yeah, like, to put it into perspective, everyone, she can do things with magic that multiple people combined have to be able to do, like, taking on the Death Knight. It's like, okay, so, she can one-shot the guy. Or girl.
Yeah, with
and
enough
yet,
investment, yeah.
Yeah, and then, like, it takes, like, 3 or 4 people combined to kill the Death Knight otherwise. Like, you could say that, like, Dimitri can one-shot, but considering this is Golden Deer, that's moot. But, like, I don't think anyone else in the Golden Deer can, like, one-shot besides her when it comes to Death Knight, which is really, really good, actually. Definitely a mage-based glass cannon, yes.
Yeah, she's not taking hits.
Again, I would like to note
Caspar
has more defense, and he could actually take hits a little bit better than her. Oh, okay.
Just a little bit.
In fact, thanks to her high magic stat, her damage dealing outstrips other mages in the game. Wait. Her damage dealing outstrips other mages in the game.
So they admit that she's the best magic user, but they said she's the worst magic user in the same argument.
No, they said she's the weakest in the game, and then outstrips other mages in the game.
So,
what?
What's very weird is Lysithea is 8 here, but Hubert was 2 in Black Eagles, and
they have the same spells.
like at worst you can say Lysithea, like, if you really hate Lysithea, at worst you can say she's worse than Hubert, which Hubert was number 2 on their list, which is, yeah, just wrong.
Yeah, she definitely needs protection or she'll go down quickly. Okay, she does level up quickly, but though thanks to her ability Mastermind, which doubles the skill experience here in Zimbel. That's not combat experience, that's skill experience. There's a difference. Yeah. She will not level up, she'll level up her skills quickly, but they're making it sound like, oh, her levels will go up quicker because her weapon ranks go higher, faster. It's like, no. Just overall, this is a really weird entry. Overall, this is a really bad spot for her. I seriously think this is criminal to me.
I would have her 3 on my list, not 8.
Yeah, 2 or 3 on mine as well, so... Raphael at 7, I mean, okay.
He should be 8, but yeah, this is
7's not too bad.
The latter
it's not
half.
far off. Let's see what they say in terms of his, So, he's obsessed with increasing his physique, and as such has some of the best strength, defense, and HP in the game. I mean... Defense? Not really?
No, defense is wrong. You just kind of put him into classes that can boost his defense, because he needs it, and his HP is super high, but...
Yeah, like, I'm pretty sure that, Swordmaster Dedu will have more defense than Raphael as an armor knight. Like, Dedu's a god in terms of defense abilities. Like, he just, like, oh, I love Dedu. He's so much fun.
It has. They do say it has some of the best. They don't say he has the best.
True. Unfortunately, this makes him more of a meat shield, as he lacks stats to do much else. I mean, you're saying he has high strength and high defense.
Yeah. Well, early on, his strength isn't actually that high in comparison to the other people in the cast. It's a late game when Raphael becomes super good, but man, is it a struggle to get him to War Master and get the skill that lets you hit 3 times. Mm-hmm. Oh man, it's a struggle to get there.
His high HP and defense, along with his ability, Goodie Basket, that recovers 10% of his HP each turn, means he can take a lot of hits, but he'll struggle landing a hit. A problem with that, did they not even look at what his skill exactly says? It's a luck percentage chance, or something, right?
Yeah, it's like a luck percent chance and
to recover 10%
of his HP.
And yet they're going, oh, he could do this every turn without fail. No. Hell no.
More times than not, it will not happen. It's nothing you can rely on.
Arguably, if it did work every turn, he might actually rank a little bit higher on everyone's list, because that's a pretty solid, like 10% of HP every single turn is basically like renewal. That's not bad. It's not bad. It's still not a great skill, but it's not bad. But the fact that Goodie Basket triggers off a luck stat and then it recovers only a little bit of HP is freaking useless. It's the worst skill in the game, arguably.
Yeah.
Because
other than maybe Linhardt, because his is you have to wait and then you gain HP, which you do not want to be doing with like anybody.
Yeah. Why would you get your healer to wait?
Yeah.
I mean, the only time that would be actually useful is if, like, the other healers died and you need to heal him, but even then, a vulnerary will heal more than him. But here's the thing, though. That's a guarantee. If you wait, you get HP. At this, it's like, every turn, you may, like, 20% chance get 10% HP. So it's kind of a flip-flop as to which you prefer. Wasting a healer to heal himself, or taking a gamble to get HP.
Yeah.
Like, I actually think if their skills were switched, that might be a little bit better, actually.
Yeah. I see that they say the best class for him is a Fortress Knight, which isn't, like, the worst recommendation.
No, it's pretty okay.
Which, you want him to be in the War Master class, but putting him into Fortress Knight, at least just to get the class bases, which, basically, when you go into a class, your base stats will be raised to, like, a certain threshold. Mm-hmm. So, for him having very poor defense, going into that class real quick just to get his base defense up super high is actually not the worst recommendation. Then put him back into War Master and try to get that skill as soon as possible. That's actually one of the best recommendations they've made here, really. But it's not for the right reason, though. Yeah. They're saying the best class for him is Fortress Knight. I'm saying you should get it and get out. Just get the class bases, pretty much. Again, they listened to JBR, but not completely. They tuned him out halfway through. It's like, if you don't listen to JBR, what are you really doing? But I guess for, like, the midpoint in the game where he really struggles, I guess Fortress Knight isn't the worst class to put him in, but by the time once you get to War Master, get him there as soon as possible, if you can. Because the personal skill you get from War Master is really good, and it's the only thing that makes, like, Caspar and Raphael, like, very worth it. Is getting that skill. So yeah, Raphael's 7, so, like, that's pretty reasonable. Let's see who's at... Why don't you take a guess who's next? It would have to be Ignatz, probably, or Marianne. I'm gonna say Leone, because they don't know what they're doing. True. Oh, Marianne, okay. Marianne. Okay. Let's see what they have to say about her. She has high magic resistance stats with an emphasis on faith. Okay. Combined with her love of animals, this makes her ideally suited to becoming a holy knight. Okay. I'm not going to complain about that. Healing mounted healer is not bad. She ranks low because her damage output is lackluster, and her ability, which recovers 20% HP on each turn, only kicks in if she's next to cavalry. Oh, so they do read skills. So they put Raphael higher because his ability every turn restores HP, but they put, like, it's actually conditional, but they put Marianne higher because hers is conditional, but they say his is not. So, okay. Very weird.
Instead, she performs better as a support, either by healing allies or silencing enemy magic casters. She can be helpful, but she is outclassed by her peers when it comes to war. Yeah, you know who outclasses her? Like Cynthia, but
yeah. Marianne is a very like mid character. She's just very average. She's a pretty good healer, and she does have some like untapped potential for being a physical unit with. It's like the sword combat art that goes off of magic. That one is pretty good, but it's kind of more of a meme than anything. Marianne is still like pretty decent in like whatever she goes into, but she's probably like the easiest class to put her in is a healer. She's a pretty good one. I don't like saying characters should be dancers, but she's also a pretty good dancer. I think she gets pass. I'm not sure what. No, she gets the +1 move thing. Yeah, never mind. Yeah, she's just kind of average, but a pretty good healer. So
like 6 spots.
Yeah,
pretty okay.
Yeah, I'd put her like 6 or 7 probably. That's fair.
I saw Ignatz is next.
That is not a terrible place to put him. I think this is the first time on the list I'm like, yes, this is where this character should be. Number 5 out of 8.
Yeah. Let's just see what they say about why they put him there. I'm curious. In combat, he's an average bowman. Okay. Thanks to his proficiency in bows, high speed, incredible luck. Okay. He is destined to become a sniper or bow knight. Okay. His ability Watchful Eye gives him a +20 to hit, which is incredibly useful for bow fighters. They don't really say why it's useful, because if you go further than 2 range with the combat arts, you start to lose accuracy. So him having +20 hit actually helps for shooting further. I always like to think that's because his glasses kind of help improve his eyesight for going further. Due to average stats, he's an average member of the Golden Deer. One that could show greater combat potential if you weren't obsessed with painting and can handle stress better. That has nothing to do with anything, but we do agree he has potential, and he's right around the spot.
Yeah. What makes Ignatz so good is, first off, his personal ability is one of the best in the game. +20 hit is very, very good. We love that for Ignatz. If you master the Archer class, I believe it is, you can get another ability that's just like Watchful Eye, and then you can have +40 hit, which is kind of a meme because you don't really need all of that, but it's nice that he just gets the +20 hit 24/7. It's very good, especially when you're hitting from like 5 range with Hunter's Volley, which is probably the best combat art in the game. It's like +5 might, you can attack from 5 range and you double. It's very, very good. And Ignatz having +40 hit with that makes him very, very good at just spamming Hunter's Volley from 5 range out of range of taking retaliation from enemies. So he's actually very, very good. He's kind of underrated, but Ignatz is my guy.
Yeah, I think 5's pretty solid. 5 or 4. Sounds about right.
Yeah.
So they actually did something right for the first time. Congrats. Well, the lords don't count though, but because you can't screw up saying the lords are the weakest or something. That's just wrong. So even they know better. But outside of the lords, this is the first one that's like, okay, you know what? This is like right about. Well, him and Raphael are right about where they should be.
Yeah,
Raphael's
I would put Ignatz 5 or 4 easy.
Yep.
I think this is a good one.
Okay, let's see who's in the number 4 spot. Let's see. It is an ad. No, Lawrence.
Lawrence is too high. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's way too high for him. I think that's too much credit.
Yeah.
Okay. Nope. Okay. Again, what does this have to do with anything? Many fans have compared him to a less charismatic version of Griffith from the 1997 TV show Berserk.
What the hell?
What? Who? Why? This is this Fire Emblem 2? Like, what? Are we ranking TV shows now? Like, what the hell are we doing? Okay, this is definitely reflected in his combat. Okay, so apparently in order to understand this rating, we actually have to watch this show. Okay. So this is definitely reflected in his combat abilities, as he is skilled with a lance, riding, and some skills using reason. Okay.
Yeah.
Combined with his high HP, defense, and resistance, he can make for a strong Dark Knight or Paladin. Paladin? That doesn't sound right. His ability, Distinguished House, gives him 2 extra damage as long as he's in formation with a battalion. He may not be likable, no duh. But he is skilled in combat, especially when fighting with a group.
So, Lauren's just very mid. That's the best way to put it. He's just very average in everything. He doesn't really excel in anything. So he's just a pretty good filler unit. But in a game where there's so many godlike units, that's not the best role to be. He can be a pretty reliable mage with high hit rates on mounting mode. I think that's like the best thing he has going for him, because he has Sagittae, which I believe has the highest hit chance for a tome. So he has that going for him, very high hit rates for him. And if you put him into an archer class for a second, get plus 20 hit, he should have over 100 hit all the time with Sagittae. And so yeah, he also gets Ragnarok, which is, I believe he does. What's it called? I think it's Ragnarok, but it's just like one of the most high might magic tomes in the game. So he just takes investment to become as good as Lysithea and Hubert in a magic role, and then as a physical unit, he just doesn't have all of the goodies that other units like Sylvain, Fernand, Bernadetta get.
Yeah, there's a lot of units that actually outpace him in doing what he does, but they do it better. Like Sylvain, riding, lances, magic, and he does them all better than Lauren's.
Yep.
But yeah, like 4th place Lauren's, I'd say he's like 7th, 6th. If you really want to highball him and just kind of stroke as a lovely member there, I'd say you could say 4 or 5. Well, no, it's already 4, 5. But higher than 5 is just ludicrous.
Yeah.
Okay, so Leonia 3. So I'm willing to bet that it's Leonia 3, Hilda at 2, Claude at 1. That's
not the worst ranking, but Leonia should definitely be 2, arguably 1. Leonia is that good.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
So let's see what they say to make her, as to why they put her that high. Ridiculous speed, skill, good stats in everything except magic resistance. Okay. Great physical fighter with skills in lances, bows, and riding, making her good, if not the best bow knight in the game. Her ability Rivalry is a bit amusing, as it gives her 2 extra damage and a +2 to damage resistance if a male is next to her.
That's a very good ability for early game.
That's all they really say about her, though. But this placement's not bad. It's not the best, but it's not too far off. If Leonia if they put Leonia at 8 and then Lysithea at 7, this entire tier list would be trash. Utter trash. Right now it's only half trash. We could accept that.
Yeah. What makes Leonie so good is she is a fantastic flyer. What makes her so good is she gets point blank volley, which basically is hunter's volley, but you just have to do it at 1 range. So she can fly around on a wyvern while still using bows and being able to have hunter's volley in a sense, while not being a sniper. So she's very, very good at just flying around with stride and one-shotting people and then cantoing away. Her personal ability is very good for the early game. She's very strong with Tempest Lance early on, and then she becomes a Pegasus Knight, just like Edelgard very early, just like her and Petra, and do a very, very good job at that, and just destroy for the mid game as well, because her speed is the 2nd best besides Petra, I believe. It's either, I think it's Petra, Leonie, Felix, or it's something in that order. Yeah. But yeah, she's a fantastic unit. One of the best combat units in the game for sure.
Yeah. While they don't say that, they do put her at 3. So that's respectable.
They don't say why. They just put her there. I have no idea why, but I told you why.
Yeah. And just for note, apparently Lysithea is the worst in the game. And Bernadetta is just the worst in Black Eagles. And
yeah.
So number 2, Hilda. I mean,
Hilda.
Personality-wise, I'd say she's the worst in the game. But in terms of fighting, she's not bad. Let's see what they say about her. She's skilled in axe fighting and uses lances to a minor extent. I mean, everyone can use lances to a minor extent. high HP, strength, and speed makes her a powerful Wyvern Lord. Wow, they actually know Wyvern Lords are a thing! Her ability Advocate is interesting in that all adjacent males will deal a +3 damage, which means she's a great team player if your army is largely comprised of males. Okay, so put a bunch of simps on her team, and your team's better.
She has a cool combo with Sylvain, because his ability is what Leone is, just when he's next to a female unit. So you can give him, I think, like +5 damage, +2 defense, just standing next to Hilda.
Which is pretty cool. Yeah, it's a pretty good little wombo combo there.
Especially early on with Tempest Lance, it's a great combo. You're probably nearly one-shotting things early on in maddening mode. At least getting close.
Yeah. So I'm actually curious, where would you put Hilda when you're strictly looking at Golden Deer? I think like...
So, I would put her like right... I would put her at like 4, 5 maybe. She's just a good Wyvern. That's basically it. She doesn't have any like crazy goodies or anything like that, but she has high strength and she's a decent Wyvern Lord. But she doesn't get like, you know, like swift strikes like other units, or she's not like crazy fast, so she doesn't get like Vengeance or Blank Volley. But she just hits hard, and with a Brave Lance, she is a fairly good unit as a Wyvern Lord.
I actually have a really good experience with Hilda that you might actually laugh at me about for a little bit here. So I think the first time when I was playing through like Golden Deer and I recruited and I got Hilda, I actually, just for like humor's sake, I turned her into like an armor knight, and she was so fast, she was doubling every enemy she went up against as an armor knight. And I was loving it so much. It was the funniest. Like, she would just run around like, "Baba next." I'm like, holy crap. Like, no one dealt her damage unless it was magic. No one could, like, they couldn't really kill her. And she was just doubling everything. Like, oh, Swordmaster? Baba. It's like, good God, woman, what are you? So yeah, I've had good experiences with Hilda. So I'd say like 4 or 3.
I'd put her right above or below Ignatz, right there. Fairly good physical combat unit, but nothing crazy. And then Claude is a god. He's just not Edelgard or Dimitri, but he's fantastic.
If they do not mention that he gets a Wyvern, this whole list is trash. Because that should put him at the top. Okay. Becoming a Wyvern Master and later Barbosa. Okay, they mentioned it.
Yeah.
So, skilled at flying, bow, yeah. He has high speed, decent stats, and everything except magic, yeah. Which you won't really have a use for anyway.
That's true.
Duh. So they mentioned his skill, but they didn't mention Edelgard's, that does the exact same thing. But okay. Pair him with Hilda.
With Hilda and Leone in battle, and you have a strong squad. I guess that's not wrong.
It's not... Wait a minute, wasn't, Okay, what was Hilda's skill again, actually?
Hilda was +3 strength.
Yeah, her ability Advocate is interesting in that all adjacent males will deal +3 damage, and then
Leone gives herself +2 magic, +2 damage and +2 defense. / resistance.
Okay, I feel as though if Leone's boosted him as well, that'd be a really true statement, because then he'd have like a Claude that would take no damage from him. Well, he'd take less damage and he'd deal a ton more than he already does. Like, overall, this is not bad.
So what makes Claude so good is he just has really good stats, really good growth. The Fallen Star combat art is really, really good. And he's very fast.
Oh yeah.
And he flies, and he's a flying class, and that's really good with a bow. You cannot go wrong with that. And
bows are the best weapons in Three Houses,
yeah.
Except for like the hack sword Viscum. But other than that, it's like bows are the best weapons in Three Houses, and flyings are the best path to go through in Three Houses. Yep. So a flying archer naturally is god tier.
And he has arguably one of the best gambits in the game. It's so helpful. When I play Golden Deer maddening, I honestly just get carried by Claude's combat art. It's insanely good. It stops like fucking half the map. It's so good. It's insanely
really
broken.
Okay, let's move on to... I saved the best for last, because I know JBR. It's Blue Lions, baby. Let's go.
Yeah.
So,
Blue Lions.
Out of the Blue Lions, at the 8th spot, which would make you the most upset? all the Blue Lions?
Dimitri.
Well, we know that's not going to happen. So besides Dimitri.
Sylvain. Because Sylvain is one of the best characters in the game.
Okay, Felix.
Felix, that's wrong. Bad. Bad list. Bad. Thank
So
you so much for watching the video.
So I like how for the last one you're like, okay, if they put like Leone at 8, it's like Lysithio's like your second choice, the second most likely person to piss you off at 8th, and they did the same thing for Blue Lions. They know you so well.
Felix is so good.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, that makes me upset.
Ooh. Okay, I saw who was out after Felix, and I'm not very happy about that either. But let's focus on Felix for a moment. So he only gets like 1 paragraph, which is interesting because the other lists had like 2 paragraphs technically for each person. They separated the personality with the combat, or sometimes they merged it for whatever freaking reason. Felix is literally
just saying he's a terrible person. He's not.
Felix is literally a trash monster of a human being. So yeah, you know, there's a range. I mean, sure, he's kind of a dick to everyone except like Annette, but why is he at 8? Is it because he's a jerk? I mean, he's absolutely fantastic in battle. He's fantastic in battle, but he's at 8th, so that means everyone else is god tier, right? That's how we're understanding this. And easily one of the strongest members of the house, and he's at 8. What?
So this clearly isn't how good they are. This is just a popularity contest.
Or clickbait.
Yeah.
He easily scored doubles on enemies, even early game. So his lack of a personality is made up for with sheer skill, so we'll keep him.
Yeah. So Felix is just pick an offensive class and he will dominate. That's basically Felix. He's insanely fast, very, very strong. His personal ability is very good for the early game. And when it's not, is when you're getting plus 10 might from gambits, so like you might as well just throw that on, and then his personal becomes useless. But early on, it's pretty good depending on who he's doubling. It's basically plus 10 damage in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
And his crest is also fairly good. So yeah, he's just one of the best offensive units in the game. He's insanely good. He'll double things with the Wyvern Lord and just destroy things. Yeah,
granted, he is arguably the biggest jerk in the game, but he's also one of the best units, like, combat in the game, so...
Yeah, he's insanely good.
Number 7 is Ingrid.
Okay.
I like the fact that they use this picture. I like that. He's like, whoa, girl, don't shoot. Like, damn, I'm just trying to hit on you.
Yeah, Ingrid is a weird one. Her problem is her strength is super low, but if you're playing on maddening and you recruit her into Black Eagles or Golden Deer, she's a much better because she basically is treated like she has a 50% strength growth, and all their other stats are pretty good. So, if you're playing Blue Lions, it's a bit of a struggle, and you kind of have to get a little lucky. But in maddening mode, if you recruit her to a different house, she is fantastic. Great unit. So, her being 7 doesn't upset me too badly, just because of her 35% strength. And I think we're assuming that you're playing Blue Lions with this tier list.
Yeah.
So, I can see the argument. I would definitely not have Ash or Annette above her, but... I
would put her at like 4 or something like that, somewhere around there.
I'd put her like 5, yeah.
So Ingrid is the exact opposite. Yay! So she's not a jerk, but... Oh, actually, she has a fine personality. She isn't particularly trash to anyone, mainly. I think we know who they're talking about here. She's childhood friends with many of the different members of the group, Sylvain and Felix. Yeah, she's kind of the mom of the group. She's constantly attempting to fix the messes that Sylvain finds himself in. She's okay in battle? It really depends. If you give her tons of strength items, she can be helpful, and has enough defenses to be a solid member of the team, but the use of items that she requires makes her a bit frustrating to deal with. Overall, she's fine, an improvement over Felix. That's just wrong, but okay.
No, Felix is actually just better.
Oh, he's better in
not
almost
being
every
able
way.
to become a Pegasus Knight at level 10. That's literally it.
Yeah. Okay, let's see who is in 6th.
Why is Ash so high?
Sylvain?
Sylvain, bad list.
6th?
Terrible.
Are you kidding me? Okay.
No, this is just actually wrong. There is no universe where Sylvain is lower than Ash. It's not even on a popularity tier list. There's no way.
Oh wow, they actually just completely delve into his personality and do not mention his combat at all. Like, at all. So, womanizing monster, sleazy, hits on just pretty much everyone except for Leone, because he doesn't recognize her as a woman, which is hilarious. Manuela, sure. His teacher, sure. I mean, Manuela is his teacher, technically, but sure. A scarecrow, absolutely. Flame even hints at that he's into men, too. I mean, that's true. How about Ingrid's grandma? That's an important one. If you're gonna mention the girls he hits with, you cannot forget Ingrid's grandmother.
Oh yeah, I love that support.
That was such a I laughed so damn hard at that support. He certainly cares about his friends and his missions, but he's gross sometimes, and that's okay. And I don't know it's not, but okay.
No.
He's pretty good in battle, depending on how you class him. That's all they say. Out of this entire paragraph.
It's hard to fuck up Sylvain.
Exactly. He's good with magic. He's good as just a lance cav, or whatever you want to do with him. I'm pretty sure he'd be amazing as a wyvern as well, because wyverns are just amazing in general. But like, he's like second or third. Like, what the hell? Why?
He's easily one of the best units in the entire game. You can recruit him into any house. He will have some of the best base stats when you recruit him. Even if you don't recruit him and you just play Blue Lions, his stats are still very, very good. He has Tempest Lance very early on, or he starts with it, and his strength is very high. And once you get him to A rank Lance, he gets Swift Strikes, which is the best combat in the game, just attacks twice. And you can do that with the relic that you get from the Miquelon chapter, which is like chapter 5 or 7, something like that.
Yeah, really.
So you can have like a plus 25 might attacking twice on chapter 5 or 7,
which makes him just an absolute god. But no, apparently he's really sleazy, so that negates his combat utility, and he's at 6.
Yeah, having Swift Strike with his quote unquote personal weapon, and then just being on all wyvern just makes him absolutely broken. This list is just bad.
Yeah, like this is an atrocity.
I'm upset now. I'm upset.
Okay. Yeah. So like, you basically covered all the combat stuff that they didn't, and we both place him higher. So like,
yeah, he's insanely good. One of the best units in the
Dedue?
game. Easy.
Dedue is worse than Ash. Let's just take that in for a second.
Okay, why is Ash in a net so high? Like if we're talking how much we like him, okay, I can see it, but everybody loves Dedue.
Hello, he gets us to spread his seeds. He is trying to better the world. Okay, Dedue has dealt a horrible hand at life, blah 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 blah. And he's a good brawler too. And while not as strong as someone like Raphael, no. He is a worthwhile unit to bring out to deal some heavy damage. Sure. They're delving, it seems like for the Blue Lions, they're delving into, backstories and, personalities, and then they're like, oh yeah, by the way, they're okay at combat. And then just leave it at that. It's like, no, the other two have been, a little bit personality, a majority combat, and this one's, the Blue Lions is just, yeah, they're all shit combat, but they're good, they're middling personalities. It's like, wow, this is just an atrocity.
Yeah, the Blue Lions list is easily the worst one. I love how they said that Blue Lions was the strongest cast, but they're shitting on everybody.
Right? It's like, don't worry guys, Blue Lions are the best class in all of 3 houses, but none of the characters are good.
So what makes Dedue so good is his defense, especially on Maddening, is insanely high. The only problem with Dedue is he leaves at a very important point in the game when the game just starts to get super hard, and you would love to get some more investment into Dedue. He's just not there in the story, which really, really sucks. He would be a lot better if he didn't miss, because it would be easy to put him into a War Master or keep him as a Fortress Knight and have just an insane super tank.
And so another thing that kind of makes him...
That's really his only weak point.
Yeah. Well, he's got some others too. He might, if you miss a certain tidbit, he might not even return at all, which is absolutely terrible. And magic kind of eats through him. But other than that, and he's slow as balls. But when you take no damage from physical attacks, 0 times 2 is still 0, so who cares?
Yeah. At worst, it's super easy to make him a defense adjutant for Dimitri, so There you go.
And he's 5th. Where would you place to do? I would place him like... I'd place him a little bit lower than 5th, like 4th or 3rd, maybe?
I would put him 5th, depending on if we're talking about Ingrid in Blue Lions or if we're talking about Ingrid outside, so either 5th or 4th.
Okay.
It's fine for Dedu. This is a good ranking. They just don't say why. He's not the greatest.
Yeah. That face though. I love it when he's like during the conversation. He's like, "Hey, I'm gonna try to smile," and he looks like super freaking scary, and it's like, "Please stop."
Yeah, Dedu looks sad all the time. I feel bad for him.
Okay, 4th is Ash.
Ash should be number 8.
Oh god, does that mean
like,
Annette's like 2 or 3?
They have Annette and Mercedes in the top 3. This list is. They have literally like reversed the tier list, and it's almost accurate. Besides probably Dimitri at 1.
Yeah, keep Dimitri at 1 and flip everyone else around. You're fine. Like,
it's a meme how bad Ash is, but like the only reason why there's so many memes is like he just has nothing really going for him. Like his strength is pretty bad. His speed isn't the greatest. He's an average archer. He's an average wyvern lord. He's just probably below average, honestly, in most of that stuff. And then his personal ability is lockpick, which is useful for like 2 maps. Oh wait, you can like just get chest keys, so anybody can open the chest. So
yeah, like
I'm pretty sure you can buy them.
His personal skill is kind of bad, and like one thing that I like to note when it comes to Ash is, I feel as though one of the reasons why he's memed on so hard for being bad is because Yuri, literally, you could transform Yuri. I've done this. I've had Yuri and Ash the exact same class, exact same level, and Yuri just buries them. I'm talking like +3 to +3, +4 in every single stat. Like, Yuri's just a better Ash. So when you have a better Ash, why do you need Ash?
Yeah, well, Yuri is DLC, but like, Yuri is like what Ash wishes he could be, and even still, Yuri isn't like the greatest unit. He's pretty good. But he's not speed. A god.
Crazy,
but
actually.
Ash is just like, I don't know. Ash has like the stats of somebody from a different game. It was like last minute put in 3 houses, so not the greatest.
So his relationship with Ingrid is
love him.
Yeah. His relationship with Ingrid is truly one of the best in the game. I mean, I guess. If you train him right, he's useful enough, but the reason he earns this place in the list is due to how caring he is for everyone around. Okay, so for some odd reason, what they did for the Blue Lions list is they went personality over combat, and for the other tier lists that are worded the exact same way, they did combat in order, I think, for the most part, it seems.
But the thing is Felix and Sylvain are like some of the best written characters.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying for like this one. They kind of forgot about combat, and they're just like, I think they're just, and for Blue Lions, they're just ranking based on personality, which kind of makes sense if you look at it like that. I mean,
yeah.
Ash is caring boy, Mercedes is good girl, Annette's good girl, Dimitri's kind of freaking insane, but it's a really fun story. So it's like honestly, if you were talking personality, would you argue with anyone on this list at that point? In this order, Felix, worst personality. He's kind of a dick to everyone.
Ingrid kind of low, but I can see it.
Yeah, Ingrid, yeah, sure. She's kind of the mom of the group.
Sylvain should be much higher. Dedu should be higher.
Well, if you're a female playing this game, I think Sylvain should be about here. Because no girl likes to be hit on all the time, and if you're playing female Byleth, he's just like, hey, you're hot, I'm joining you. It's like,
It's all about his character, man.
Yeah.
So it's written so good. I'm not saying he's a good guy. I'm just saying his character is written well.
Ash is a good boy. Like I swear, like this entire for this version, the Blue Lions is strictly ranked in terms of personality, not in terms of combat. Meanwhile, like the others, Edelgard is kind of terrible personality. So like that makes sense, but she's the best at combat, so that's why she's at the top. But this one's just pure personality, which is so dumb, honestly. Especially if you think about the other ones. Annette's at 3. Okay, I mean, she's a good girl. Yeah. She's adorable. Annette is Ash, but better. Okay. Also incredibly useful in battle. Okay, so they do look at combat.
Wait. How is Annette just a better Ash? That literally makes no sense.
I guess personality-wise, she's better in that aspect.
Annette is Ash, but better. That is literally an opinion piece. And if you're talking like combat-wise, then like they're not even similar at all.
Yeah, because one's magic-based, one's more physical, but he can't really do that as good. Like
one is a bad physical unit, the other is
a bad magical unit.
A mid-tier magic user, but really good support and rally unit. So
she's absolutely adorable, which I do agree. Also incredibly useful in battle. She's a good rally bot, sure. While she's no Lysithea, but you guys said Lysithea is the worst in the entire game. So, question: if Annette's worse Lysithea is the worst in the game, should Annette just not exist?
No. You wanna know why? Because she has a good personality.
Okay, but like, while she's no Lysithea, but like Lysithea was put that low because like for
weak.
Combat, but her, I don't know. This is getting confusing. She's a powerhouse mage who can provide some heavy damage. It's not too far off.
She does decent chip damage. It's kind of hard to get her to one-shot things. She's
Lysithea
fast,
does it better.
So outside of maddening mode, she could be a pretty good powerhouse mage, but
yeah,
she has to double.
I'm playing Blue Lions Maddening right now, and that's not really doing. Someone else chips and doubles, and then she finishes them off. That's all she really does.
She's good for chipping. She's good for finishing units. Her greatest thing is just being a very good support unit. Mm-hmm. She can get rally strength and rally speed very early on, which makes both Dimitri and Felix or Sylvain really, really good in the weird, kind of hard middle area before it gets super easy. I mean, giving +4 strength to Sylvain is just really good because of Swift Strikes, so can't go wrong with it.
Yeah, but like Annette at 3, combat-wise,
no. I would put her 7 on this list, right above Ashe. So at least Annette has the rally utility that'll make her useful in any situation.
So here's a fun fact for this so far. Out of the 3 tier lists we've looked at, this is the first one where the what do you want to call
Healer.
it? The sidekick is not the side whatever you want to call it. The second in charge of the army is not in second place on the list.
Yeah, we had Hubert at
in second. And
2,
Hilda
at
second. 2. And Dude's at 5, and Mercedes is at 2, which is interesting. Mercedes is the definition of a saint. There are a few people in Free Houses who perfectly match that description, but nevertheless, we are talking about Mercedes. Incredibly sweet, kind of rips on Lorenz. Yeah, I like that. I like that she does that. That's funny. Combat-wise, she's an incredibly powerful mage who has a specialty in white magic.
She's not an incredibly strong mage.
I use her, and she, like, on Maddening right now, she can almost one-shot anyone with Ragnarok.
Huh.
She's like 1 HP away from one-shotting literally anybody.
Yeah.
So I'm actually tempted to believe that, but her specialty is in white magic because her ability... So she gets Fortify at some point. I forget if it's early on or later, but she gets Fortify, and with her personal...
BRA.
Yeah, but with her personal skill, plus, like, her personal skill when she heals herself. So you activate Fortify, you heal everyone for over 300 damage or whatever. Let's be generous, say 100 HP. Well, it doesn't matter how.
It's nearly full every unit.
Exactly.
Every unit gets full HP almost.
And then she gets increased by that amount, which is absolutely insane. Like, she doesn't have that high of HP, but if she's almost dead, Fortify, she's at full health.
Yeah.
Like, that's pretty good.
So with Mercedes, right next to Linhardt, it's like, do you want a better healer in Mercedes, or do you want a better utility unit in Linhardt with his warp ability? It's just kind of like that. They're both really, really good healers. Mercedes is a better healer, but Linhardt has warp. So I would personally put Linhardt above her in like a large scale tier list. But Mercedes is the best healer.
I would also say that she deals more damage than Linhardt as well. Like, she's got damage and healing, and Linhardt has kind of utility. And that's about it.
Ragnarok is very strong, so she has that going for her. Linhardt doesn't really have any powerful black mage or What is it called in Three Houses?
Black magic or whatever it is.
Black magic spells, yeah.
Because there's black magic, there's dark magic, and then there's faith. Which is so weird.
So yeah, she has Ragnarok. Her other skills aren't anything too crazy, but Ragnarok is pretty good for the like 4 or 5 times you can use it per chapter. So, pretty solid.
And in first place we have we're done here. I hope we got we got to talk about Dimitri.
My boy Dimitri.
Yeah, if you guys saw the collab video, you know how much my boy JBR loves his Dimitri. So Dimitri, our soft little boy who can turn into a complete sociopath at the drop of a hat.
Weirdly accurate.
I'm loving this. I'm loving this already. Actually. Let's not get into any major spoilers and instead just focus on pre-time skip Dimitri. Okay. Yeah, look at him. He's so handsome. Well, he might be in line to become king of the kingdom. That sounds a little weird, but okay, I know what they mean. And the other Blue Line House members. What?
The grammar's throwing me off.
Yeah, it's like
very wordy.
Are all the Blue Line House members gonna become kings of the kingdom?
Well, he might be next in line to become King of Fargus, is what they should have said.
Yeah, but and the other Blue Lion House members, so are they all gonna be kings of Fargus? Like, he's
gonna be the king of the other Blue Lions house members, is what they're trying to say. But
yeah, it's just really freaking weird. I'm just trying to imagine Ingrid as a king, Annette as a king. There we go. And looks upon them all as very close friends. He cares deeply about what they think. Okay, we're talking pre-time skip, sure. And wants to make them happy to the best of his ability. Okay, pre-time skip, sure. He cares for each and every one of them. You already said this once. Along with other students at Gamerant, such as Edelgard. Ooh, okay. He's also a powerhouse in battle. As he is a house leader, he has his own class that further amplifies his power. With all this in mind, Dimitri takes the #1 spot on the list. So in terms of combat, he's got the Battalion Wrath Vantage combo where he could just sit there and nuke everything in his path. Give him a Killer Lance, he has like 100 crit, no one's gonna kill him. No one's gonna touch him. He's gonna murder every last one of them.
Yeah. Dimitri has fantastic strength, pretty good speed, has some good bulk. He has like the best base stats in the start of maddening mode, just like besides Byleth and arguably Edelgard, his base stats are just insanely good.
Oh yeah.
Right off the bat. And the battalion, like, you don't even need Battalion Wrath Vantage for Dimitri to be one of the best physical combat units in the game. He's honestly just insanely good with his raw stats alone. His strength is crazy high. Like, crazy high.
Like, wasn't there a support that kind of, like, digs into how strong he is? It's like, oh yeah, I hike up a freaking mountain every single day or something crazy like that. And Raphael was like, yo, I wonder if I could be as, like, you know how buff Raphael is, and he looks up to Dimitri for how strong Dimitri is. That says something. If a guy that's buffer than you looks up to you in terms of strength, that's an achievement right there.
Yeah, Dimitri's insanely strong. The only thing that puts him at #2, honestly, like, we know the Battalion Wrath Battalion Vantage combo is insanely good, because he can be at full HP and then just attack first with 100 crit. The only thing is, it's a little tricky to set up. It's not as reliable as just Edelgard just coming into the map with her stats and being able to get all those extra turns and being warped and all that stuff. So that's the only reason I put him at #2 in the entire game. But, like, we've talked about some pretty crazy units, and this guy's the second best character, arguably the first, so
yeah,
it speaks to how good he is as a unit.
In terms of, like,
mode, on maddening mode, it's very hard to have a reliable, good enemy phase, at least not with the right setup. And Dimitri's setup is pretty easy. It's just a little weird to get to Battalion Wrath Vantage activating, but once you do, he kills everything. He kills every last one of them, like you said.
Yeah, like, in terms of him, like I said earlier, in terms of him versus Edelgard's like a juggernaut where she can player phase turns, like, an entire map by herself in one turn. Dimitri can tank everyone. I think I had an issue on one chapter because I didn't promote everyone to Flyer, so that one time skip chapter on Maddening kind of screwed with Dimitri a little bit, but other than that, like, after that, I could just send him to do anything by himself, and he's perfectly fine. It's just that map, for whatever reason, has major power cliffing. Like, I don't know, it's weird. But yeah, no, it's basically the ultimate juggernaut versus the mega tank, and he is the mega tank. He deals a lot of damage, he has good defenses, good HP, he's really hard. You actually have to really try to get him killed, and then you have to really try to get Edelgard to not get kills.
Yeah.
I think that's the best way I could really put that.
Yeah, so all in all, this list was bad, but at least they got Dimitri right.
Yeah, they got Dimitri right. Yeah, I think that's the only thing they got right on this list.
No.
Well, maybe the Dew being in the middle was about right.
Yeah, that's the only one that's okay. Everything else is actually just upside down.
Yeah.
And Sylvain should be number 2 because, like we said, you can recruit him super easily, his base stats are really good, and Swift Strikes, being a Wyvern Lord, he one-rounds everything on player phase.
So, JBR, here's a question for you. Out of the 3 tier lists of Gamerant that we looked at, the Golden Deer, Blue Lions, and Black Eagles, which one do you think was the most accurate? That's the fun one.
I think besides Lysithea being super low and Hilda being a bit high, I think Golden Deer was probably the best. Black Eagles was okay, but like, there was a lot of weird stuff that just, like, the meta for 3 houses needed to be developed a bit for them to really know. Like, I don't blame them for Bernadetta being 8. Hubert is way too high, though.
Oh, yeah.
But everything else is okay.
Like, we can cut them a little low. It depends on which way you want to look at it, because, like, we could cut them some slack and be like, oh, well, you know, this was made, like, a couple weeks after the game was released. But they also have the ability to go back and redo it, and this just shows they don't care. And, like, for example, I think if we take a quick look at this one here. Oh, no, this is the 2019 one as well. There was one from, like, initially 2019 that they restructured. And it was, like, redone in 2020, and it still looks wrong, so maybe I could refine that one. We can pick that one apart later. But yeah, that's it for today. This was me and JBR taking a look at every single, well, not every single, but 3 main tier lists on Gamerant and kind of ripping into them a little bit.
The Blue Lions one actually made me upset. I'm gonna go cry.
Dude, Bernadetta at 8 really pissed me off. But anyway, I do hope you guys enjoyed the video.
Yep.
And if you did, definitely check out JBR. His channel's gonna be down in the description below. Definitely check him out. The guy's growing like a goddamn weed. And
thank you.
As for me, if you enjoyed this video, like, comment, subscribe, and until next time, this is Be Ready and Done signing off. Bye.
Well, what?